A pleasant good afternoon to all. Hello, my name is Cool Breeze. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce Clifton Joseph.
Hi.
To the Jackie Vibes Radio Broadcast Network. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Cool Breeze is here to chronicle the vibe and magnify your brilliance, local to global, on Jackie Vibes Radio. Clifton, we're going to talk about Toronto the Good. They call it what? T-Dot.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to say good, bad, and ugly like a Clint Eastwood.
Good, bad, and ugly these days, yes.
Breeze, you crack me up, you know.
Yeah.
Every time I open my mouth open with laughter. You know? I mean, did you always want to be a comedian?
Well, I thought about it. I didn't want to get pelted with oranges and apples and mangoes.
I just couldn't stand the booze, but I still try. Happy Sunday afternoon to you, man.
Yeah, you too, man. Listen, I've been in Toronto, Canada since 1976, so that was about 48 years. How long have you been here, my brother?
3 years before that, April 10th, 1973, 10:30 p.m.
Wow, you got this is like the CIA details.
Breeze, I remember falling down on the escalator, didn't see steps that move, electric steps that move. And when we came down to Pearson and we see Toronto, Breeze, we couldn't believe that so much lights could have on at one time. At the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We had just the year before in my village in Antigua gotten our first 2 street lights.
Right.
So you can imagine, I was overlighted.
Oh man, when I came, man, and I came from the country, so a lamppost light, they were like a mile apart.
I'm telling you.
And you had the Firefly.
That was the light we used to catch them.
Anyways, I come to the big city and I saw the lights, man, and I said like buildings touching the sky.
What?
I was like a deer on the highway trying to cross.
Absolutely, me too, man.
But it's all good.
Indeed, we're here now. We're big city slickers right now. If you will. You know what I mean?
we're gonna talk about some of these things, Clifton. How do you remember Toronto in those days, my brother?
Wow. It's such a mightily different place than now, because these days it looks like if you don't go to a certain part of downtown, especially in like about 3-4 months,
right,
when you go back there, you can't recognize nothing. The gas station gone, the 3 little stores gone, 3 condos gone up, and they got all kind of big stores in the place. So
right.
But when I came here, it was still,
keep on talking.
I lived off of Queen Street, Queen and Niagara there, just east of Shaw, east of Ossington, west of Bathurst.
All right.
Across from like Bellwoods Park. So it was still pretty much a lot of those old European stores, you know, Polish, Ukrainian, what have you, and so on. You know, furniture shops and bakery and all of those kind of things. So it was not, I wouldn't say run down, but it was like old school Toronto, you know what I mean?
Okay, right.
It wasn't like gentrified or anything.
Like today, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty rustic and so on. So it was all cool and it was all new. Because we were meeting a lot of people. Breeze, I didn't meet much West Indians in Antigua. There was a family from St. Lucia, Indian, that came to cut cane. So I thought all St. Lucians were Indians until I came to Toronto. We always had Montserratis over there. You could see Montserrat, you know, Montserratan or Montserrat.
Yeah.
We always had Montserrat.
From your island.
Yeah, I'm in Antigua. Montserrat is over there, St. Kitts, Guadeloupe.
On a bright day, you could see.
Yeah, on a clear day, you can see most of those islands. You can see St. Kitts over there. You can see Montserrat.
Wow.
It's only like a 12-minute, a 9-10 minute flight, you know. You go up and you come down.
You may as well take a canoe and sail.
Yep, nighttime you can see the lights across the other islands. Sometimes people get into accident thinking that it's Antigua and drive off a cliff because they thought it's road. So it was real great meeting a lot of other West Indians. My first set of Trinidadians I meet, Jamaicans, Kittitians, even though I could see them, I never met a Kittitian. I feel I could see their island from mine. Right. So it was really great to see all of them together. The school system, remember they streamed us? They used to put that back in grade where you had to go take a test and so on.
ESL and all
Yeah,
that.
I was just about ready to do my GCE exams. And because I was younger when I got into school, so I practically finished high school, beat, but they threw me into grade 10, grade 9 actually, grade 9. So anyway, so it was cool. It was a whole world opening up. The first night, Breeze, guess what, man? Kentucky Fried Chicken for the first time.
KFC, buddy.
What, we had the big bucket, brother.
And they were good in back in those days.
Gosh, fries for days and all of the salad, the macaroni, the potato salad, and what's the other one? The cabbage one.
Yes, coleslaw, yeah.
Back in the day, I tell you, I can't tell the last time I had Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Same here.
Fire button Kentucky. So it was like the whole world was open up, Breeze. I mean, of course you had to get adjusted to stuff, you know, the school system,
yes,
the buses, the subway, speaksy spokesy, and you know we were taught to be quiet and humble. Otherwise, them teachers slap you up because they used to beat us in the
Belt and whip.
You know what I'm saying? So you hush them out, and of course your parents, you know. What's that? Answer when you're called. Shut up and answer when you're called. And
speak when you're spoken. Answer when you're called.
Exactly. So even in school, I mean, I used to go home saying, "Boy, I have to say something in class," you know, because I realized they have a thing that was foreign to me. Participation marks. I said, what? Breeze, it took me a while because I used to go home and say, boy, I really should say something in class, you know, because I'm going to lose about 10%. You know what I mean? Breeze, after I get over that shyness, you couldn't stop me from talking. You know what I mean? I'm going to nail that 10%, baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the whole world was kind of opening up, you know what I mean? So it was cool. As it comes to parties now, because I grew up as an Anglican, right? Never really believed much about it, telling the truth. You know, pray to the Lord and do the thing. Because in my family, for instance, they used to send us to the Seventh-day Adventists to cool out, and the Christian mission. So sometimes I didn't know what religion I was because I go into all the churches. And
you're mixed up.
But when I came here, I realized we used to go to a church down on Cowan Avenue out somewhere in Parkdale, just down from the library, Parkdale Library.
Yeah.
And I remember, I guess maybe after about a year, that my father didn't say nothing when I said I wasn't going to church. I said, what? Oh God, where's that, Papa? Oh, mercy, and Brother Percy. But you know, our major, the school dances, but our major thing that got us into the scene that helped settle us was really the parties.
Yeah.
Starting with house parties.
Yeah. Big
and then
cement.
the clubs that started out.
Big cement.
Those parties was where you got to socialize and proselytize and rub up and do your slow dance and the latest tunes, learn how to dance. Because I went to my first couple of parties with one of my older brothers. And he used to say, boy, Clifton, Franchise, but a real fool here. Because my music come on, me gone on the dance floor. I didn't realize if I asked you, you're supposed to ask. You're supposed to ask somebody for dance. You know what I mean? Breeze, my thing come on, me pop on the dance floor. You know, wait for somebody. We wait for somebody for. You know what I mean? So Breeze, you wanted to do a nostalgia thing. You wanted to go back into the past and rewind and revive.
The Toronto, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me start with record stores, man.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Records.
The big guys.
Well, oh gosh.
Sam the Record Man.
Of course, Sam the Record Man and A&A Records. Of course, Sam, we never did shoplift from Sam because, you know, Cass used to teach us to shoplift. So I was a blow collegiate blowing Duffin. When the Duffin Mall opened up, there was a record store named Sherman's there.
Okay.
That's how I started my record collection.
Wow.
We used to buy a Toronto Star, pull it up a little bit because the record was just maybe this much bigger than the Star.
Yeah.
So you go in with the Toronto Star as if I'm a fucking academic reading the Toronto Star at 16. 16.
Doing some 5-finger discounts.
Yeah, but Sam, we never got to Sam that the cats would say, Sam's got his shit together.
Yeah.
Sam's got his this and that together, and he got all kind of eyes over the place and so. This is before CCTVs and so on, but he had enough bunch of workers there and so on. So of course Sam's, Sherman's, come up here to Eglinton, you know, Raps Restaurant was running. Joe Gibbs, Nana McLean was over there. She was running Treasure Isle. You had Monica's downstairs there because of her husband George Lewis, who, you know, recorded a lot of folks then. I didn't know that, but there's a record studio. They sold records there too.
Right.
And across some third world bookstore in Bathurst, up from the subway from Barton Avenue, probably the smallest record store in the world, run by a dude named Lovejoy. And Lovejoy, Jamaican cat, he was the brother of Noel, who ran probably the most famous black club at the time, These Eyes. These Eyes at Paper and Cosburn. So Lovejoy there. So before a lot of proliferation of the West Indian stores, West Indian black record stores, we went to the regulars. Sam, A&A's, you know, Sherman's, all of them, you know what I mean, and shoplift as much as we can. And then as time went on, and at the time too, remember, you had to pay the import records coming outside of Canada, you had to pay extra for.
Yeah, and it sounded different.
Yes, well, I guess so, because the
quality of press.
Yeah, but I mean, it knocked your pocketbook differently too.
Yeah, it did.
Until what happened is certain cats, some of the DJs and so on, you know, Suki and Santa and those cats, Ghetto Sound and Soul Clan and so on, Cambridge Brothers used to drive across to Buffalo, Rochester, Detroit and so on, and buy the records and come back. That's how some of the earlier record stores would do, right? So you didn't have to pay that extra money at Sam's for your records from, you know, your import records and so on. So we bought our records and we had our thing, you know. Remember when you used to slap 10 of those 45 together and slap on the thing and you don't have to do nothing? That was early remote control, right?
Chopping one by one.
They didn't have that for the 33 and the third though, right? So you had to do that little shit, get it from the top, right? And blah blah blah. So yeah, it was a glorious time because we were exposed to a world that we weren't. Because you know, the Caribbean can be quite sheltered, you know. You believe a small island like Antigua, Breeze, and I didn't really explore the island. We didn't explore the island. No. You stay in your little village. Yeah. If you're going to school in Tongue, then you take the bus to Tongue and you come back home. Maybe if there's a picnic for Labor Day or so, and you go to a beach on the other side of the island, or by chance you visit some people, some relatives on the other side of the island. Most time, you're home, you're school to home. You know what I mean? And you live in your old live, much like I hear New Yorkers live. You know, when I find out, you know, cats in Brooklyn hardly go down to Queens. Yeah. And Queens hardly go down to Manhattan.
Or the Bronx.
Yeah.
Or downtown New York City.
Yeah. Most Americans don't have a passport, Breeze. In truth. Anyway, so yeah, so it was like a whole world opening up, and our parents had a hard time because all of the influences are out there now. They brought us here for the education, a better life and so on, but the whole world is opening up, Breeze. Clothes, music,
fashion,
shoes,
everything.
Fashion, the opposite sex, parties, you know what I mean? Part-time job, you know what I mean? Hustling. All of the influences, the world was there, you know what I mean? White girls.
Topic for another day.
Please, you know what I mean? I remember writing letters back. You remember I used to write your letters and you had pen pals and so on. So I'm writing to my friends in my village. Hello, I hope this letter reaches you in good health. As for me, remember that light I was in there? As for me. And I explaining everything to my man, you know, about the escalator, elevator, how big the buildings are, snow and so on. He said, cut to the shit. You got any white pussy yet? I said, not yet, but I'm trying.
Yeah. Remember they had some of the records after they came down on Young Street, Carnival Records. Play the record. Peter Dunn Vinyl Museum. HMV came after. Tower Records.
Much like, Tower Records. I used to love Tower Records and then Tower Records.
Sunrise.
Sunrise. Oh yeah. All of those.
Vortex, the record peddler, Monica record. Oh my God, Cops record.
Oh yeah. You got the list. You got the list there, brother. You got the list.
Young Street was buzzing. You come down from below and walk straight down to Queen.
Oh yeah.
And it was this kind. That was our little.
It was a
Manhattan strip.
Yep.
Time. Oh, that's was our little.
That was your entertainment and so on. In fact, SCTV do a thing with that way. I think some cats come on from Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, and their big thing was just like we West Indians. Let's go down to Young Street, because that was the thing. You go down to Young Street, and hey, you remember what year did you come here?
76.
76. So you had missed most of it then, because from 71 to about 76. They started in 71 because 71 is when the Iron Expressway was originally intended to go all the way downtown.
That's what I heard.
Like they have in America with a freeway going through Detroit and so on.
Yeah.
But some environmentalists, there was a group called Pollution Probe at the time, and others, the very rich in Forest Hill and so on, they didn't want that shit coming through the area.
Yeah.
So they blocked it. That's why I end up here, and there's such traffic on Eglinton there, because it was supposed to go downtown.
Straight downtown, yeah.
In celebration, so they blocked that in 71, and in celebration, they went down on Young Street and just blocked up Young Street and had a festival party. Then the next year, the city decided they would try a one week thing, where they block off from like Adelaide to Shooter Street, Albert Street there, right? Just west and south of Dundas.
Yeah.
And block it off from traffic and had a week of pedestrian thing. The next year they move it to 6 week and move something north. And then it ended up, I just say they 12 weeks in the summer, from like almost Queen to all the way up, because the strip there, with all of the body parlor, body rub parlor, strip joints and movie stone would be
right.
But Gerard going north and so on, or just south of Gerard and north of Gerard, right?
Okay.
So they call it the Young Street Mall. It was blocked off, no traffic, pedestrian all the way breeze. It was a glorious time. You missed that brother by a year or two, baby. I'm telling you, that gets out of your mention as a spot to hang at. So the record stores, and with the record stores too, as time went on, we started shopping more at the black record stores because you could get your records. George's Records and downstairs in Monica's. George used to get the reggae because reggae was just
coming up heavy,
international, right? And George would repress the records and them, so you could get them cheap by George. You can go down to Lovejoy, all of the black record stores. Nana McLean doing her thing there. Raps, who was running Joe Gibbs record store there at the time, before Raps got into food, way before Raps got into food. Talking the mid 70s. Late 70s. So the record stores, and the record stores now spawned the DJs, because before the record stores it was the DJs.
Yes.
However, they got a friend coming from New York or from Buffalo, Detroit, Rochester, wherever, bring some records, and that's where we're hearing. We're not hearing them on the radio and so on,
because there was no black radio.
You know what I'm saying? Well, there was my man J.C. McDonald at Chin, the most frequented frequency. I think he was and there were a couple of little guys who would go down to CHWO and so on, Hamilton Station, and buy time and then sell ads and so on. But it was these record stores.
Who's the top set of DJs back in those days?
Well, for me, I was hanging with some Trinidadians at the time, so I was moving with Ghetto Soul and Soul Clan. My man Suki, the Regulars.
Yes.
The Regulars and them still around. They have a little mass camp and so on, and they take part in Carnival and so on. So, Sunshine, of course, came a little bit later than that. Cambridge Brothers, Cambridge Sound. There was something. Who else was there, man? DJ Funky.
Okay.
A bunch of other, man. My mind is gone.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of DJs around, and they were, because you're hearing the music first a lot of the times in the actual dance.
Right, before you hear it on the radio here.
Yeah, because we were gonna hear radio here. I mean, we're listening to Buffalo, Chucky T and WBLK,
WFO,
David Stafford and them and WUFO and so on.
WBLK.
WBLK and WUFO. Those were our stations, right? So it was a time where we almost were like people say Clifton, you talk with a Yankee accent. Said, yeah, I'm right next door, baby. And it was either, okay, we're watching American TV.
Right.
Seeing American news.
Right.
Hearing American music. Hearing American twang.
Soul Train.
Soul Train, or the Cosby Kids, and Saturdays and so on. So we grew up with that kind of lingo.
Yeah.
So it naturally became part of our kind of twang and so on. And West Indians, they say, the concept of freshwater Yankee. Yeah, never even been to New York, but the Yankee boy, Yankee. So where was I? So the music was there, and the DJs were there doing the things.
Maceo.
Oh gosh, how could I forget?
Yes.
Shit, baby, how can you forget Maceo? In fact, Maceo was G.O.D. at the time. Maceo was the man.
Yeah. Maceo
was the. Yeah. Before Sunshine too, because Sunshine came a little bit later than Maceo, but Maceo was the preeminent, and cats like TKO, Sound Cool and so on. Those are young guys that came up to way afterwards and so on. But Maceo was our first DJ superstar.
Okay.
On the other hand, JC McDonald, that's DJ. When I said DJ, dance. DJ, not radio DJ, but DJ in the dance. But JC McDonald at Chin was our main DJ, because he was one of the few we could listen to.
All right.
There's some other cats around, but you couldn't get them on the AM dial. But Chin had a pretty good signal. Chin's signal was always powerful. So
it was.
It was, if you were to say something, I'd say it was really Maceo and JC McDonald. The two of them in our heads. Those of us who gravitated towards radio, we used to like JC stuff, man. Start to do his thing too. You know what I mean? The most frequented frequency.
I remember those days of the Block Roman block parties.
44 St. George.
Oh man,
St. George and College. Come on, baby.
It was a sweet time. It was a sweet time, buddy. It was a sweet time.
Summertime. That was the place to be. That was. Excuse me. That was one of them places that kept us going. That got us into the groove, made us feel powerful. You know what I mean? We had an identity. Yeah. When you go down to and of course Caravana too.
Yes.
You know,
and all the events building up to Caravana.
Exactly. And Afro-Pan. I've been an Afro-Pan man for
Pan
years.
Fantasy, this Pan Alive, Pan of this.
Well, a lot of them came after, because Afro-Pan ruled the roost for a long time, and it took me years before I jump onto the bandwagon of Pan Fantasy. Don't tell nobody. don't tell the people about Afro-Pan breeze. But me jump off of the Afro-Pan thing. Boy, I went up to the pan yard up at the Downsview base there, and I fell in love with with the Pan Fantasy. That boy Al Foster can arrange, boy, and they have style. They can dress. They have panache. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, what's not to like? And they last bunch of years and them win the Panorama.
Clifton, and back in those days, the music, the DJ, the fashion, the this, the that, the girls, everything, all intertwined into one thing. And you had to have a good stereo system. You couldn't go 3-4 blocks without meeting a stereo store in Toronto.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Blackboard radio, Brack Electro.
If you can't do the Pioneer, the Technics.
Oh man.
Then you go to your radio shop back in the day and get a cheap little. Yeah. In fact,
I had one of those.
Most people had the
Consumers Distributing.
Oh gosh, I used to work at the Consumers Distributing at there's one at Vaughan and Bathurst back in the day. I miss that kind of store, man. Yeah. So remember the first little radio shop crossfader
I remember those, a little black box.
So Breeze, we were here and a lot of us didn't get back to the Caribbean for years, right?
True,
In terms of like, we come here as 13, 14, younger, 15 maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, parents ain't got no money to take you home and
You
so
gotta
on.
go get your little job, save up your money. And
Not even for funerals and shit, you go home, man. Your pops or moms may go, but you just send a letter to take a picture and thing and send up. Because remember them times when we all used to do it. You walking by and you see a gold Cadillac Eldorado, and you do your take the picture, the man. Take the picture. And you're holding on to the handle for the door. I tell you, but we our minds though opened up. Breeze. I remember, for instance, we were all black, even though there was all that bullshit about Jamaicans and Trinidadians can't get along.
All division.
Yeah, when you do with all the small islanders, all of that went away when we were all called nigger.
Yeah.
And we all realized, dude called me nigger the other day, man. First time it happened, Beast, I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish I wasn't shocked because I didn't know. I had no idea until I asked somebody. They said, "Boy, you know I deal with that."
Yeah.
But we were kind of forced into a kind of unity because we were all here.
Right.
A lot of us were streamed. We were put back in grades or pushed into technical vocational schools. So we were all going through the same kind of thing, adjusting to the Canadian society, to racism, discrimination, to the cold, to snow, to the new language and the new ways of doing things and the new culture. So we struck a natural bond at the parties, at the school dances, at the dance halls, in the basement, and all of those places. It's where we learned
I
to
remember
be.
when I came here, I lived with my parents for 3 years, and then on my own, I said the first thing, I gotta get me a nice set.
Yeah, you into that thing. Yeah,
I was into that thing.
You set guys used to spend some money on that shit.
Yeah, we did. We really did. I had equipment under my bed in the box. I didn't like the sound of that. After a while, I put it in. Guy come to my house with cash. He says, I'll take what you got. I just moved stock because stuff I was looking for higher end all the time. Locksman and Nakamichi and Macintosh and them type of business there.
Marantz.
Yeah, higher end. So when you go through your techniques and your Akai and your all them brands, you filter through Pioneer and Sansui. I had all them kind of thing. So I have a piece of Sansui in the corner that I sold to a friend years ago.
Hey, look, I just checked Facebook because I was trying to go up. Look, you see the dude to the left? That is Suki.
Oh yeah.
We used to do Soul Clan and thing.
Right.
In fact, they had a club. They had a disco club across from called the Web, across from Central Tech back in the day. So back into the instruments.
Yeah. So the guy, I sold him it back in the 80s, and he brought it back to me. He says, rather me throw it in the garbage or give it to somebody who can appreciate this thing.
It was still
working. Yeah, it's sitting right there. The Sansui I sold him.
Still, this year from 19 how much?
About 80
something.
84.
The thing look like it just come from Japan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And the way I used to take care of stuff too.
Meticulous.
Yeah.
They were building shit back then to last.
Oh man.
You had to shoot that like John Wayne killed his horse with the buckle of the left leg and shit.
Yeah. So a stereo system was a big thing for us because with the record you wanted sound good, you wanted everything good, speakers and
Start a symbol if one of your relatives have a birthday party, a wedding or something, and you're right there in front of it like a big wig.
It was a big thing. So how do you remember clubs? Who were some of the clubs in the day?
Well, the clubs, man. So as I say, right, first of all was the parties, because I was like 13, 14, so the club thing didn't kick in, but you could persuade your parents to let you go to your best friend or good friend party and so on. So that was the whole thing. Slow tunes, your first little sexual encounters or little thing rubbing up, boy, we used to love them slow tunes, Breeze.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember back in the day where it'd be funky music, dance up music, but once you hit 11:30,
Boom.
12 o'clock, bam!
Yeah,
Everything slowed down, baby.
Lights
I
turning
have
low.
to meet you here today.
Lights turn down low,
Just
bud.
so many things to say. Oh, Misty Blue. You know what I mean? So Breeze. But then, I'm telling you, so we used to hang at a place called Four Brothers downtown.
Where's that?
Spadina, like north of Dundas, there, college area. I was like a lot of African Canadians, because Alexander Park is in that area there, Regent Park and so on. So they're Canadian-born blacks, and it was a high school thing from all over the city. We came and hung out there. That was one of our main spot, a place called Four Brothers. There's a liquor store across the road there, just up from Dundas, and that used to be a club called Paramount, a pub, where it was a kind of largely a Nova Scotian hangout, but you could go there, get your liquor, drill, hang out and so on. But one of the biggest clubs back in the day, as I say, was These Eyes at Pape and Cosburn.
Okay.
Jamaican dude named Noel ran it. Small place. In fact, it's amazing how small it was. But Noel had enough decorations in there to outlay about 5 big clubs. He had some big ass, what I call them things, fish tanks, aquariums with fish going about and so on, and disco strobe lights and so on. I remember the strobe lights and so on, because the heights of disco. And it was the place, Breeze. We didn't have money for entrance fee. Man, we'd be 4 of us at the door saying, yo, boo, to the doorman, you go to Central Tech, right? You know my man there, good athlete, so and so. You know my man Ozzy, and I know your sister, man. She goes to Central Commerce, don't she? You know, brother. We only got $5. Can you let the 7 of us in?
Just that you're killing me here, man.
Breeze,
You're killing me.
Breeze, you know much. Even in the winter time, we outside cold, till the man take some pity on us and say, okay, I can't let you all in at the same time. So who first? You know what I mean? Or in the case of some place where they have tickets, we'll buy 1 ticket, slip out the back, you know, so the back door. Have you guys in them before cell phone, you say, look, give me 5 minutes and meet me by the back door. Discreetly. Open the back door,
With that man, the ticket.
bring everybody in. So there was Mrs. Knights at Isabella at Young and Blow there.
Okay.
Upstairs joint. Mirrors on both sides. I remember the sisters used to be on one side and the brothers be on the other side, and you'd go up to dance, ask to dance and so on. You know the ritual, you cross the floor, right?
Yes.
Breeze. It's embarrassing if you get a no though. And you know, just come, a fresh, you used to call us at the time. You see 3 sisters sitting down. You come across nicely, you cross the floor, everybody seeing you know, and the mirrors on both sides, so you kind of, everybody in the place can see you walking around confidently. And you ask her, can I have a dance? She said no. Stupid in me. Asking she other friend. And asking the other one too. Breeze,
No,
you can
no,
tell
no,
I
no.
was totally green. Absolutely green.
Yeah.
But Mrs. Nice used to be upstairs. You go upstairs and used to be a hot spots to be. But even more popular than those two, tell you the truth, is Hagerman.
Oh, Sunshine used to run.
Hagermans, yep, Hagermans, Sunshine, all them used to there. Big ass joint, packed, gambling, dice and so on in the bathroom, brother slapping up his lady, you know what I mean? Because some cats had gotten into pimping by then, you know, the slick brothers and so on, was pimping and so on, had money and big suits and Cadillacs and shit, right? Dude, Breeze, I don't know if you remember the floor because of the weight.
Yes, yes.
The floor
I've been
was
there once.
always vibrating
Yeah.
and moving up and down. Boy, if you believe in Lord Jesus, Allah, and so on, that must what has saved us, because I'm telling them that place was jam packed, and you can feel the floor moving up and down.
One time I went, and you know how them boards on the ground broke, so they had you could.
Dude, and I don't know what was downstairs, but Hagerman's was the spot to be. You know what I mean? And across from Hagerman's, this is by City Hall now, right? And across there was a Holiday Inn hotel, and they had a joint in there called a floating disco, because a lot of them hotels had, disco was big and so on, and we were spending money. We were buying all our Kangol caps, and remember Master John's, the Greek guy on Young Street there, south of Gerard.
Okay.
Used to sell high heel boots, high heel shoes. Remember when we were wearing high heel platforms?
Shoes.
Yeah, platforms, and he sold to all them rock stars and so on. But Master John, a Greek guy, that's where we used to go get our shit, right? So Master John was there. So there was a floating disco, and I gotta give you some more names of these eyes, Hagerman's. Hey, Club Trinidad.
Oh man,
That was a Dalhousie Street there.
Club Trinidad, buddy.
A Queen and Church there.
Yes.
In the back.
Yeah,
Club Trinidad. That was a spot, man. I'm telling you. I had gotten a gig at the Underground Railroad Restaurant at King and Sherborne.
Yes.
And that was our first spot when we leave. First party spot. And then we'd end up in Yorkville, a disco called Le Dome. And I think there was another one called Checkers and Dominoes, but Le Dome there. Those are some of the places where Pirates Cove on Young Street, the Monkey Club, Network and Pierce Avenue, Club Blue Note,
Yes. Blue Note.
the Twilight Zone.
I've been there, man.
Twilight Zone
They
was
had a
kicking
wicked
there.
sound system there.
Oh
man.
gosh, yeah, they ended up, the Assume Brothers, about 3, 4, 5 of them. They ended up, they had a big club down by the water called Fresh. Big ass club that used to do stuff. Then that got took over. Then they opened up a joint called Gotham at Blue. Remember there used to be that big ass Harvey's at Blue and Young?
Yeah.
On the south side, just east of there.
Yeah.
There was just east of that, there was a big ass building, they called it Gotham. So that was where they ended up there. And across from that, remember downstairs at the Bay, before the Bay was there, remember Heaven?
Oh, that blow.
Heaven nightclub there.
Bay there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Young and Bay, downstairs.
Yes.
Downstairs, Heaven was there. And
Watch this lady in. Go ahead.
up at Marley and Marley and Noseland, Spencer's Retreat.
Okay.
Upstairs.
All right. Yes, I remember
the
that.
store. Spencer's Retreat was doing its thing there. You remember the Main and Danforth, the Spectrum upstairs.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Them
Oh.
upstairs. Remember the Spectrum
Spectrum.
upstairs, boy? And when you're not going to the clubs, honorary mention must be given to all them apartment buildings. If you didn't have no, because at school, come Tuesday, Wednesday, you start getting addresses for parties. So, boy, how much you have? And you always try to have one guy in the crew who can drive, who got a car.
Right.
So we're going from Mississauga to fucking to Oshawa, wherever, right?
Right.
So when we did have them addresses and so on, we end up them apartments at Keel and Lawrence. Party for days,
Keel and
them
Lawrence.
big, them tall 20-story
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
You just move, you just go pull up there and just see who's coming from what building. Parties in them buildings plus parties always at the jungle.
Right.
Lawrence Heights, the jungle there. Jungle, you just drive around, walk around and ask somebody. And also down at the village, Caledonia Village, Caledonia south of Lawrence there. That housing development,
Yes.
the big ass buildings.
I know that. Yeah.
Parties, look, because we used to have house parties. You don't need no excuse to have a house party. It's a month after my birthday. Let me have a party. You know what I mean? It's my birthday. Let's have a party. Or Carnival coming up. Let's have a party. You know what I mean? So that was happening. Let me give you some more. Room at the Top. which is a slightly older little spot down at upstairs at Lansdowne and Lansdowne and Bloor. Room at the top was an early Cutty's hideaway.
Really? Okay.
Where the ladies were generally white and the brothers were generally black. You know that's how it was at Cutty's hideaway at one point, right?
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No.
Same thing at a place called, well, not even just that, but there's a place called Chicken Deli.
Okay.
Up at Young and Mount Pleasant. Just south. They used to do jazz and chicken stuff, but it was a real meat market. It was called Chicken Deli, but it was meat. It's the place to go.
Meat.
The Copa.
Yes.
Nightclub across from Concert Hall there, Davenport and Young
Yes,
there.
yes, I've been there. Yeah.
Used to see a lot of performers there, parties there and so on. In fact, I remember we were demonstrating against apartheid because against artists who go to perform in apartheid. I remember we had a big demonstration against Tina Turner.
Okay.
Because she had gone to Sun City, Botswana.
Yeah.
And we got nasty with that. We were all over her limousine. Jumped on the limousine and so on. They had to call the cops on us and so on. Speaking of Suki and them, Ghetto Soul and Soul Clan, they had a club, well not a club, 1348 St. Clair, east of Lansdowne in the north side. Boy, the place dark. It had about 20 stairs to go up. But that was a big spot for a while. 1348 St. Clair West, the east of Lansdowne. Then east of that there's a Jamaican dude named Bancroft. What's Bancroft's club name? He had a club on St. Clair, west of Duffin on the south side. That ran the scene for quite a while, man. I forgot the name of it now. Then he went and he opened up a club up at Finch and Duffin. Don't remember the name of that one either. And then he ended up with a restaurant right here at the intersection of Eglinton and Oakwood, where a restaurant, can't remember the name of that either. He used to sell Jamaican food restaurant, but he had a nice brunch, Sunday brunch. All of the West Indian food you can yam. One of the best brunches I've been to, West Indian restaurant wise. Of course, Soul Palace. Now I came here in '73. There was a club called Le Coq d'Or.
Yeah, I heard of that, man.
Yeah, Greek. Legendary. I've never been to the Coq d'Or, but cause it was just fading down, and I was too young for that, right? Cause Parliament and so on hung out there. All the musicians come through, the big jazz and all the cats up there, the bowling alley, there, all kind of stuff down there. Le Coq d'Or was doing. I did get to the Colonial Tavern before they closed up though, and Queen and Young. I saw that used to bring in a whole lot of jazz, and I was just now kind of getting into jazz. I saw Yusef Lateef there, and there was a Town Tavern that had just closed before. It used to have a lot of jazz and so on. So, Club Paradise, reggae joint down in Etobicoke. So the Generator at Eglinton and by TV Ontario there, Eglinton and Young. The Generator. It was a club that had all the big R&B bands used to be there. I mean, Blue Magic, the Shy Lights, you know what I mean? They come through there, the Generator, man. We saw a lot of folks at the Generator. You know where that Mandarin restaurant is?
Yeah, Young and Queen.
Yeah.
Young and Eglinton.
Yeah, it'll be like right in there, so.
Really?
The Generator. Nice little club there, man.
There was one called Out Keel and something, Triumph or something like.
Triumph Hotel.
A lot of US band used to come there.
Keel and Wilson. In fact, that was where Winston Hewitt and them had the first reggae awards. The first reggae music awards was there. They had a ballroom there. It was sold out. A number of us had to be outside and so on. Sparkles. When the CN Tower opened up, remember the revolving restaurant, and then they had the disco Sparkles there.
Sparkles.
And Blaze.
I remember. Yeah.
We used to party with the gays too. You know, people want to say Jamaicans and black men and so homophobic and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, them gays can party their ass off. And in disco, we were partying together.
Yeah, they do it in New York.
St. Joseph Street, there was a club called David's, right? A gay club called David's. We were partying at David's, man. And that Latin gay club used to have transvestites and drag, for instance, El Convento Rico.
Wow.
On College Street there, east of Ossington there, west of Revival, across the Revival, west of the Mad Club. Is that Crawford? Yes, I think it's Crawford. There used to be Dominions. I mean, it's a different supermarket now. We were partying with them gays, man. Them gays could party their ass off during disco days, please. We were there. Let me see who else is there.
That Triumph, those bands used to come up at Triumph Hotel, man.
Yeah, Triumph is there.
Oh,
Put on your
man.
suit for that one, baby.
Yeah.
Club Trinidad, Paris, Smith, These Eyes, Mrs. Nice, Le Dome. Hey, there was a club, a jazz club called Beano's.
Yes, Vaughan and something.
Vaughan and St. Clair.
Yeah, I remember
right
that.
there on the south side, the southwest side. And across the street was a club that catered to the Scotians and the Pimps. Right? I remember Beano's because Beano's, that's where I first saw Demo Cates actually.
Perform there.
Yeah, Demo had just come from Detroit and playing sax. And his band had in his brother, one of his brothers played the spoons. Breeze, have you ever heard cats play the spoons?
No, sir.
They got 2 spoons, sometimes 3 in each hand, and they keep in rhythm. They playing it like a drums, man. It's the first time I've seen, maybe the only time actually, I've seen a guy perform the spoons.
Wow.
That's a dying art though, because I haven't heard anybody like that. The Caledonia Villages, a Club Paradise, Town Town, Young Street Mall, Master John, Top of the Room. Oh, the Ontario Place Forum revolving stage.
Yes. Oh man, many good concert was there.
That was a nice venue. You go up on the little hillside area. We ain't even bringing
Man, I saw Cool in the Gang.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Chic. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Natalie Cole.
Yeah. Remember there was with Casey. That's the way.
I like.
You remember a bunch of people was trying to swim over.
I was there.
You were there for that?
When they bust the gates open.
Did I tell you?
Army, 1977, we bust the gate. These kids bust the gate. Some guys swim over to see.
What? Look, we were really passionate about you because I'm like, that's some shit. But that revolving stage was such a wonderful concept, man.
Yeah, it was.
It was, and it's a nice spot. The water is there.
Cool and nice. It's open. It's on the hills.
We came through some beautiful times.
We did. And they used to put on some good concert.
Oh yeah.
Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yes.
CNE.
Maple
I saw Stevie Wonder and Diana Ross at CNE.
Oh gosh.
I saw Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh gosh.
I saw the Harlem Globetrotters at Maple Leaf Gardens.
I saw Bob Marley and the Wailers, man. 78. That was Betty White opened up for Bob Marley and the Wailers because they had come maybe 2 years or so before and played Massey Hall, and then they came back now with a bigger crowd.
Okay.
So Breeze, I tell you, we've been through a lot of the places, man. And what do you remember about the parties? Because you know, you go in. Case the joint. It's either you're with the popular crowd or not. If not, you cool yourself. You know, don't get into no trouble with nobody.
Right.
Maybe go hang by the ladies' bathroom to see all the sisters go in and out. You know, if you don't catch them going in, you might catch them coming out. Remember me? Yeah, it was 5 minutes ago and I said no. I was hoping if you change your mind. And of course, I wasn't drinking, right? And I wasn't even smoking weed, though I was around cats who were smoking. So it was pure joy, natural high, the music. When you know, when a certain song come on,
Right.
the DJ know.
Yes.
Because everybody, like, you start bawl, you start scream, you start on the dance floor. And of course, while we're going through all the funky music all night, you know it's going to come to 11:30 midnight where if you ain't got when the whole thing slows down,
Turn off
baby,
the lights. And
turn
light
off the lights,
candle.
exactly. When you know that shit happens, so you're moving all night to see who it is, because if you get somebody nice, you and them slow dancing for the whole till the party done.
Lucky don't get them numbers.
You know what I'm saying?
And one thing.
And you might even get, because Reese, can I ask you a personal question?
Go ahead, man.
Any woman ever slow dance you so much that you buckle and do that thing? Embarrass yourself?
Well, my thing with slow dancing, I didn't. My rhythm was off, so I was mashing foot. That's what I got. I got behind the mixing board.
Do top first, man. Let me just come back. Let me just.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Those were the good times, Clifton, man. Toronto was a place to be. It was happening. It was a bustling city. Toronto and Montreal. You go to Montreal, they say the Carabana was better. They had the nightlife when it comes to jazz clubs and so on. Montreal would put Toronto to shame.
Yes, but you know, I don't know. Sometimes I think that's a bit overblown. You know what I mean?
All right.
Because remember we had the Massey Hall concert with those four guys and so on.
That's right. That's right.
Duke Ellington and them cats used to come through town and actually stay at people's because the hotel wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
There was always a steady stream of jazz coming through.
Yes.
Mind you, I don't know if Montreal is more famous, but I don't know it's because of them having more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we always had a steady groove, and we also had, we had Archie Aliani too.
Right.
I remember asking, Archie was my ex-boss because he was one of the owners of the Underground Railroad restaurant. Right?
Okay.
Archie played with Lady Day, Billie Holiday. I asked Archie one time, why didn't you do like Oscar Peterson and go to the States? You see, everybody was going to the States. It got crowded, but here, anytime those cats came through town, it's me they were working with. They didn't walk with a drummer,
Right.
and it's me. So Archie stayed here and got all the gigs. All the big names who come through here,
man.
they play with Archie Aliani, man. You know, and also I remember talking to Lenny Johnson at the Third World Bookstore where every black young man, same thing in Montreal anyway, had to have an instrument, had to play something. You know what I mean? Either by ear or in case of Montreal, they had Oscar Peterson's mother who would teach piano and everything to people and so on. So you had to, most cats played, right? So we had a healthy jazz scene here with not so much the locals getting the big gigs, because one of the big things there, according to Lenny Johnson from Third World Bookstore back in the day, was that you'd get into an orchestra and play the CBC. You know they used to have the radio, put jazz on the radio and so on. So, but Montreal has that reputation. I'm not sure how much it's actually earned, but let's give it to them though. Let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. But the jazz was happening here, and there were people coming through, and there were always clubs doing it.
What about the Phoenix Horseshoe Tavern, Lee's Place?
Oh yeah, the Phoenix. Well, before it was the Phoenix, it was the Diamond Club.
Diamond, okay.
Sherbourne. It was Sherbourne there.
Yeah, I remember the Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah, the Diamond Club. So it was the same place, but it's now called the Phoenix when it took off. Well, that was a big place where that place holds 2,200 people, right?
Yeah.
And I remember CKLN. There used to be a dude at CKLN who would be live to air on Saturday nights or it's Sundays from the Diamond Club.
Yeah. JC and Blair used to DJ on a Sunday night. These guys went to Vaughan.
Oh, see?
And used to come through on a Sunday night.
That's a big ass joint. I love that place.
I saw Parliament Funkadelic there, buddy.
Oh gosh, I saw Parliament, I saw Bootsy there, I saw Lee Scratch Perry there. I'm telling you, and my favorite is to go up to the top. Remember they got the top little lounge at the top with the couches and so on. Oh man, I love that place, man. And the big stage. I've actually performed there a couple of times too as a poet. with a band and so on. Big stage, big place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. Wherever you are, you just have to go over and say, I'll take 2 Heineken and so on. Big place, man. So there, just down from there, Larry's Hideaway, a grungy place. Oh gosh. You know the place that smell like beer? No matter how they free lifestyle the place and so on and thing. And because they have carpets too, and there's a hotel upstairs kind of too, right? So I remember that's where we opened up, me and Devin Horton, for Linton Kwesi Johnson, his first Canadian appearance, right there at Larry's Hideaway. Yeah, and of course the Bamboo, when the Bamboo started up, that became headquarters. Excellent food, excellent music, mostly black and Caribbean music, and you know, free jazz, a lot of, because they brought in a lot of free jazz and so on, and poets, Ntozake Shange, Pedro Pietri, Amir Baraka and so on. The Cameron, small place, the Cameron, but the back room of the Cameron, big spot to be. A lot of events that were happening. The Horseshoe. In fact, there's a guy, Tom, he used to run, man, Tom died in a car accident in Jamaica 2 or 3, 4 years ago, but he was a model, handsome brother. He started a thing called Beatnik Nights at the Cameron, where they'd have a band, Neil Brathwaite, Owen Isaacs, and those cats, you know. And you'd come during the day and you'd rehearse your one tune, and you know, you have maybe 10 performers, and the night you come down and play the one tune, 10 people. Went for a good 2 years or so, Beatnik Nights. It was a hell of a thing, man. A lot of people came out of that deal.
The Opera House, Masonic Temple, the Matador Club, Larry's Hideaway, Maple Leaf Ballroom, Palace Pier. What do you know about them, please?
Well, the Opera House actually, in its latest incarnation, was actually owned by a guy, rented, leased by a guy named Willie Jackson, Jamaican dude, who had produced a couple of plays at the time, and he had that there. I remember he had some events where, oh gosh, what's that sister who made it R&B big from Toronto?
What's that? Shoot.
She moved with a guy named Lascelles Douglas. What's her name? The biggest star, R&B star that came out of Toronto. I remember her name and so on. So Willie Jackson had started the thing there, the Opera House, but then it became a club. It got taken over by other people and so on. But it was a nice club. I always found something strange about the Opera House in the beginnings, where the stage is here, then there's a big space, and then the audience behind a kind of thing there. So I always found it weird before they did their renovations. I haven't been there a while, so I always found it an awkward spot where there was this little, maybe a 10-foot thing between the crowd and the stage itself. There.
I saw Marcus Miller there.
So where else did you mention the
Larry's Hideaway, Maple Leaf Ballroom, Palace Pier, and Matador,
the Matador,
Masonic Temple.
Oh gosh, the Temple. I didn't go to the Matador them that much, except once or twice, but the concert hall, 888 Young Street, the Masonic Temple. That's what you used to call it, both names.
Yeah, concert hall.
That was the place. That was where most of the bands came into town. Early world music. Remember when Woolman started up with a big concert at Harbourfront and so on?
Yeah.
The Brigantine Woman and so on. The concert hall was where the big reggae guys came to, the big soca guys came to, the big African music. When hip hop started out, dance hall, that was the spot to be. And we'd listen, before you buy your tickets, especially for them reggae guys, Ron Nelson, before Ron went to the hip hop, Ron was running, before he got into dance or reggae mania, Ron was a Fantastic Voyage program, right? Hip hop. And with hip hop and dancehall, you'd listen to Ron's show to make sure that they're on the interview to make sure they're in town. Because you know, especially them reggae guys, that they're notorious for all of them, notorious for
shows.
For for like problems at the border, you know. But the concert hall, Masonic Temple, 888 Young Street, it's actually reopened as a venue.
Really?
I went there for a tribute to what's my man who did that Blue Lights in the basement with what's she name there? Eric Mercury. A tribute to Eric Mercury when he had passed. And it's a big club, nice place though, nice place, big day. I saw King Sunny Ade there when all the Afro cats used to come through. Yeah man, all them clubs, but the Bamboo, the Cameron, the Rivoli, and the Horseshoe. They were so close together too, right? Because it's right there. And as poets, as independent artists and so on, those were the places, the key spots where you could see Martha and the Muffins, Tulpa, all of them, Rise Up, the Parachute Club, Jane Sibley, or Handsome Ned. Because at the time, there was a real cross-pollination of music and cultures, right? So you had reggae coming up, Truths and Rights, Mr. Metro, Chalawa, Leroy Sibbles, Messenger, Satellites, along with all of the alternative country, alt punk. Molly Johnson used to do a regular Monday night, Blue Mondays at the which one of them now? At the Cameron House,
right? At
the Rivoli.
Okay.
Yeah. So those clubs are essentials. I remember at CKLN, we used to do a thing at CKLN called Pub Crawl, where you buy a ticket for fundraising. You'd buy a ticket. We'd have program bands in all them clubs there along Queen Street, from the Bamboo, the Rivoli, Cameron, and all of them, man. What was the one west of I'm mixing it up. The one that's west of Spadina on the north side, like the first block down. That's not the Cameron. That's the Cameron, the Rivoli. What was that one called? Anyway, let's go.
What about the Danforth Music Hall?
Yep, the Danforth Music Hall. I wasn't a big frequenter of that, but that was a place where, and it's still happening actually. It's a big place, can hold a couple of thousand people. I mean, it still functions right now. You'll go by there, you'll see like big ass buses and trucks and so on. It's still a big place, and used to be, still is a big place. Where we used to go in that neighborhood though, just where there's a Tim Hortons at the corner there was a club called the Trojan Horse. A cafe, a small cafe club where, again, poetry, alternative arts and so on. Shoot, dude, thank you for remembering that. But the Trojan Horse was the place in that area that we used to really hang out at. But the Danforth Music Hall was for the bigger shows. Because remember though, at the time, right, a lot of local promoters couldn't afford some of the spots that were higher end, right?
Right.
Subsequently, there are places that were doing it. All the Ukrainian Hall, daily departed in our big condo at Winona and St. Clair.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
With them fierce paintings, with them swords and so on. All of the Ukrainian halls, the Macedonian halls, the Polish halls, all of the veterans, we call them places there, the veterans places that the veterans go to drink beer and so on. All of them places, that's where people used to hire for their weddings and their parties and their music shows and so on.
Right.
All of them kind of places there. So much respect to all of the European halls and ballrooms and so on that used to, because look, not everybody wanted to host us.
Right.
Not everybody wanted this under this in their buildings and so on. So
true.
Give thanks to the Eastern Europeans and them especially who said yes to our dilly-dalliances and shit.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. And some of the radio stations were booming in Toronto. I mean, The Rock and Pop with the Chum FM.
Of course, from
CHFI, Q107 for Rock.
CFRT, CFTR.
Yes.
And Upstairs of Heaven, because I remember RPM, another club we didn't mention.
Yes.
RPM, because CFNY used to broadcast from there, right? Sometimes. And now I notice Richmond actually had a show on CFNY for a moment. And then after that, Headley Jones,
I remember,
had a show there too, a reggae show. Also, Upstairs of Heaven, Q107 had their station in that building upstairs of that Bay building there.
Yeah.
And a dude I went to high school with, Neville Williams, calls himself Ray Williams now, but he had a reggae show too, and Q1, because Q107 was trying to match up with, since Headley was at CFNY. Yeah, so CFNY, we listened to all of them stations, Chum and so on, Chin.
And then some of the AM station was great for talk and baseball and them kind of commentary.
Yep, we listened to all of them, Chin in the nighttime, and then there are a number of guys we got to give credit to too. I might not remember all the name. Excuse me, Willie D, Dermot Williams, Junior Chung was on 108 FM 108. What these guys would do, they would buy time, because the stations weren't hiring them. They would buy the time from the stations and then sell their ads. I remember when we used to, Dermot ended up working with there's a Portuguese station on Dundas, east of Ossington. I forgot the call name, because Dermot used to have a show on that. And Junior Chung, when I was working with Bangarang Productions, when all them Jamaican plays were big, when Oliver and so on would come into town and so on, and we would do bang up advertising and contrast and share newspaper and so on, and all of the shows, because by now a lot of shows that sprung up on the campus radio stations, KLN, CHRY and CIUT, right?
Yeah.
But guys like Junior Chung, Junior used to do a show on FM 108.
Yes.
And his wife used to work at the library, and we would voice our own ads, and we'd have to pay him through his wife before he would even air shit. He would we had to pay the dude the whole set of money before he aired the ad, because he don't want to air the ad. And I remember one time, he was a pretty particular guy. Some of the DJs he didn't like, he didn't want, because sometimes we'd have different DJs do the ad, whoever we got to first, and we'd do it at their place, and sometimes we'd use their voice. So we take the ad to him, and the boy would refuse to play it, because he don't like the certain DJ that voice the ad.
A lot of unconscious biasness.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we went through all of that, but Breeze, it's a far cry from where we are today, where we had to search for the music.
Yeah, I remember back in that time. I was working 3 to 11 to 7, 3 to 11 while I work all them shift, and there was a station, and they had a band as white boy used to play some reggae called David Kingston. Wicked fella, man.
CKLN, because before Juan Nelson, Dave was the master of, I hate to use that word, somebody will get at my case. Dave was the king, oh no, not one too. Dave was the King Kingston. Dave Kingston, CKLN, he was the main reggae guy in the city, really. White dude, he's still around. I went to the Basement club there at Lansdowne in college. He did a set there last summer, him and Tipper. Tipper used to have a restaurant, a vegetarian restaurant downtown, and Tipper Sounds. So Dave is still around. He doesn't play that as much, occasionally, but that was the musical Bible. You listen to that to hear who was in town, which shows were there. And I'll give you a story about Dave. Of course, the promoters would hire him to MC the show. And I was telling about the Notorious No Show, right?
Yeah.
So, who was it? Brigadier Jerry and somebody else, the headliners didn't show up.
Okay.
So they had 2 opening acts, and the last one was Freddie McGregor. Freddie McGregor came and did his set, 45 minutes, whatever. Come off stage. Then he come back on stage, Breeze. And he did, if Brother Bob Marley was here, and he did a whole set of Bob Marley tunes, Breeze. he did for about 15-20 minutes. Then he said, if Brother Dennis Emmanuel Brown was here, and he went through another 15-minute set of Dennis Brown tune. Then he said, well, I just came in from Jamaica and I just want to play you. He went through the top 10 hits currently in Jamaica. So until the show end, because some of them guys don't gesture, you know, like guys like Ika Mouse and so on was notorious for beating up promoters.
Is that right?
Yeah, because look, sometimes the promoters and them would not have all of the money.
Okay.
They'd have the money for the down payment.
Right.
But then what they'd hope is that they'd pack the crowd, and by the time the main actor come on,
right, they get the rest.
Yeah. However, though, sometimes there's sabotage between promoters. Sometimes there'd be gunshots where a man hires somebody to deliberately go and shut up the place halfway through the show, so that the place is only half packed and so on. You know what I mean? Or somehow they didn't do enough publicity and there weren't enough people in the joint. Like for instance, we all saw Yellow Man one time headlining the show at the Masonic Temple, walking around with everybody and so on. Then went backstage and Yellow Man never played the show.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, the man didn't get he got his down payment, but he didn't get the rest of the money. And Yellow keep the money and gone back to the hotel.
Wow.
Breeze, if you don't have handle your business, business will handle you.
True that. Yeah, you hear that? Listen to that, buddy.
Breeze, I'm telling you, man. So this is a far cry from where we remember when we were here. I mean, even when I started poems, people say, Clifton, you can't be doing jazz, funky, because remember people used to call funky, reggae, and soca and so on. You have to choose one. I said, hold on, we listen to all of that, you listen to all of that too, so why would I have to choose one? Remember when we used to talk about, boy, you know, there's going to come a time when there's going to be a Toronto sound, trust me. You know, because we got Africans from all around the world right here. We got all of the music right here. It stands to reason that at some point there'd be a cross-pollination and that there would be a sound where we'd buy our own records, support our artists and so on. Mind you, we could still do a little bit better. But now we have various Toronto sounds in all kind of genres. We got a so-called black radio station, the second one.
Yes.
We've got black folks on the radio all over the place. We got blacks on TV. We remember back in the day, Breeze, where somebody called everybody out of their bedroom saying, come, black people on TV, black people on TV.
It was a big thing, man.
Black people on TV, what? We had to, it was like historical, right? So, I don't know if in the meantime, as we've gotten more established, if we've gotten more complacent at the same time, Breeze. What do you think?
Could be a mixture. Again, unity is a powerful thing. When you're pushing things together. You see we've been here longer than a lot of these other ethnic groups, and they come here and they into the political system and they pushing their program solid. Remember Caravana Monday? Caravana Monday, we had City Hall. You go down reggae band, people send corn soup. Now there's a Punjabi group that got that locked down because we lapsed in the program. Yeah, Sunday, Monday, the Caravana with Irie Festival and all them things.
Yep, we painted the way in a lot of ways, but dropped the ball and have maintained, because even Caravana, it still happens, or Caribbean, whatever carnival festival they call it. But it doesn't have. It lost its way somewhere along the way. I think.
That's right.
A lot of people don't go. They still get the crowds and so on, but you don't have the clout that you would think that they would have been able to establish some more power influence in the society and in the culture overall.
Precisely. And what I find today, Clifton, with our Toronto, you know what, Caravana, that's how I know it.
Yeah, me too.
I find the program now, it's so twisted and transmogrified. Because when you look at these beautiful sisters with this G-string in their butt cheeks, and they lower their standard of how men perceive them, and when the guys make catcalls to them dressed like that, they vex. How can you be vexed dressing the way you do? What example are you setting for your kids and your sons and daughters?
That has always been a problematic thing with carnival period, because you're whining. Now a woman has a right to whine, because men whine too.
No, no problem with that.
The sexualization of it is problematic. Now again, I'm no Christian myself, so I don't mind it as much. What really pisses me off is the photo they'd have the Monday or the Tuesday the next day in the Toronto Star Sun with 2 or 3 sisters winding up on a policeman.
The bandit in Trinidad.
The band what? The winding up on policeman?
Yeah, the woman, yeah. And even a guy can be winding up on a woman without her consent.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they're strict about that down there now.
Well, but again though, it used to be we used to do that though.
Yeah, of course. It was
before they put up the bars and so on, the dude, you hold on to somebody and she just maybe look back to see your face, and
you turn some voluptuous woman into a club meat sandwich.
Yeah. Oh gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4 we put it on each side, winding up.
She said, Clifton, take out that meat roll.
Look, Beans, I remember some nights, one night, you know, I've very few times actually partied Carabana night, because me party so much that I remember one night I fall totally burned out in the hot sun and so. I remember that year 76 or so it rained. Boy, me soak and party so much, the rain and the sweat until me get dry. I fall asleep on the subway, end up at Finch when it was going to Finch. I must have gone up on the subway from Finch to Union Station 2 times. The bottom of my shoes wear out. And come home, shower, eat, and make the mistake of sit down anyway.
Crash.
For a minute, whap, you wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're still there. Half of your clothes on.
But University Avenue was the best in terms of texture,
absolutely,
atmosphere. University Avenue was the best.
Absolutely, we knew where to meet. You know where to meet your guys. We had our spot. Look, we start out by Varsity Stadium there. Meet at St. George. Have our thing. Somebody too late, we know where to pick up. We all had our spot by Dundas. Anybody got lost and so on, or whatever problematic things, our headquarters by Dundas Street there, a little bit west of the university. Breeze, it was the most glorious time. It was the most glorious time, because again, we felt the power.
Yes.
Next to that was when we used to have African Liberation Day, the end of May. I remember we marching with Stokely Carmichael and so on to all the way down, like from the American Embassy and so on, all the way down to Christie Pitts, and have our big speeches there and so on. Those are the 2 times that you felt most powerful. Yeah. And you can see that the society feared you and kind of respected you in a strange way that particular day, because they could feel the unity and the power. But much wasn't done with the power of that unity.
Precisely, correct, Clifton. I remember Dude and I had a conversation. You know, and they have the pre-Carabana thing at City Hall.
Yeah.
And he was from another island. We went to school together. And he said to me, look at this. We're doing all these things. All this stuff is great. It's good. He said, but here's the problem. We didn't unite together and bring the economic resources together. All these years we're doing this thing, and when land was cheap, they could have bought lots of land up in Markham Fairground and areas before the condo, so we can house our stuff, have our parking and events to host Carabana and other events year round. We didn't take care. We should have bought buildings when the real estate was cheaper to house our things. So we have here east, west, north, and south. We didn't do that. We gotta go be begging the man
Again and again.
again and again and again and again. And then all this community always hearing about this one have the foot in the tail. Here's this one. I worked with a lady for donkey years. She was H&R. She used to manage portfolio of 1,000 employees. She came to us back in the day and managed one for 300 employees. They have 7 of them in a room in a Caravana event. 7 of them. Lawyer, this one undercover cop. She's a HR finance guy. This various facet. Let's say they had $85,000 checking. 7 of them checked the money. And everyone had a different amount. This is no joke. When she told me that,
You kidding me?
I'm telling you, man. I said, but how? I said, no, something wrong. This is something you see in a movie. She tell me this. I said, you gotta be kidding, man. Stop it, man. She said,
I'm not surprised.
Dude, she did payroll for a pension plan. 7 of them checked the money. All of them are on there. I'm on the cop in the corner watching everybody. He even come in and check it too. 7 different amounts. I said, boss, something wrong with that money counter machine. Some glitch.
Because they used to have scandals every year. The person running the beer tents and so on would take home all that money that night. And then bring it back Monday.
Wow.
Breeze. And subsequently with some of the other little concessions and so on. Breeze.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you be.
Yeah.
You could be Malcolm X, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Jesus.
Yes.
Me not trust you
No.
to go home.
Would that come back and give me a different number?
Dude,
No.
baby, I wouldn't even trust myself.
That's
Tell the truth, knowing that nobody has a breakdown of this cash flow. And there it is right there in my bedroom, please.
So Clifton, let me get this straight. If Jesus come and say, give me the money, Clifton, let me check it and come see you in the morning, what you say to him?
Hell no, Jay. Hell no, Jay. No, Jesus, I'm sorry, but I love you. And you know, like it, some of the things you do and so on, but I'm not leave this money with you. I'm sorry, baby. Malcolm, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Alhamdulillah, but not you either.
If Trump say you check it and bring it back.
Trump, dude, somebody take that guy out there and shot you in the foot. Because he will thief the money with his eyes.
If the Pope say yeah, check it and come deal with you differently tomorrow. If the Pope say that.
Your Highness, or whatever they call you. You might get away with that with all them nuns and priests and so on who diddling little boys and girls. Not your soul.
If royalty say me check it and come give you the money tomorrow.
Up yours, Your Highness. No. Nobody, that money has to go straight to the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, not even a safe. Me not even trust the safe. When they have deposit to the bank.
Yeah.
Let the bank count it, or
Yeah.
we'll count it.
Yeah, you have
then-
money counter there, big machine.
Yeah.
Come give me a total.
No, Breeze, because too many things, you know, they used to get free cars for the week and 2 weeks and so on, free hotel rooms and all that. You know, the big wigs in Carabana, like for instance, for the trusted volunteers and so on, somebody lived in Mississauga, they don't want them going home, they say, okay, Royal York, let's say, donate 20 hotel rooms. You know who take them rooms? The big upper echelon of Carabana and so on. Who get to drive the car and so on, who take all the thing, who carry home the money with them that nobody else checked. So no wonder. And they've tried stuff where incompetence, they never were competent. I mean, nobody there has competency as their strong suit. So they've got, look, City Hall couldn't even audit their books.
Right, yeah.
For years, City Hall couldn't audit their books. The city gave them a building, charging them $1 a year taxes.
$1 a year.
On River Street, there in Regent Park.
Couldn't do it.
They started to get into thing where they had a harebrained idea to to get into the accommodation business, right? Because you know the hotels and everything, it crashed.
Clifton.
Everything they put into the anti-Midas.
Yes.
Everything they put the hand pan turned to trash.
Yeah. Clifton, I don't know why some of these women, okay, you have a right to wear what you and whatever, but you have some common decency. You can't come with your melons hanging down to your kneecap and your body flat like baking stone and you're winding up in front of the camera and telling the cameraman, hold it steady, don't take that. And you know, these older women trying to outdo the young girls and know your place, know your time, man.
Well, okay, so we're calling for is a cover up now. Okay, how will that affect the costume making? So is it the costume makers who design these scantily?
Well, I think it's a demand on the person themselves. This is what we want, and they said, well, the costume, well, this is the team. This is bringing me dollars, so.
Because tell us something, Breeze, though. Looking back at my days when, before the restrictions, where you can't jump up with the in the band and thing, right? I wasn't really thinking sex, though. You know what I mean? I was just thinking sex, because I was winding up too.
Right, everybody.
And had my wine skin, my thing full of liquor and drunk no fuck. Sex was the last thing on my mind. So
the music, the good time.
Yeah, so I don't know if the gaze, if your gaze is as like a reverent gazing or you're a participant, because most part, look, I hardly ever had a hard on, telling the truth. Winding up on women in
Clifton,
Caravana.
if you had a hard on in Caravana, you'd be booked and charged.
You know what I'm saying? No, really. I hadn't really thought of it before now, Breeze.
Yeah.
But I don't remember ever having a hard on.
She would say,
winding up.
Clifton, move that right plant, for me.
Mind you, slow dancing at them basement parties
Was that
back in the day. Oh gosh.
Blue lights in the basement.
One time, I don't know what happened. I had gone out to clean brief or something, but me decided to go to the party with no brief. Brief, mistake.
CJ.
Look, baby,
CJ,
even if you have on a brief, remember when
there's a barrier.
Yeah, when the song now, let's say you're feeling out where it's just a one tune or a two tune.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a long Earth, Wind and Fire Reasons or a Millie Jackson tune, like long ass tune.
Right.
When you can't tell Junior to stand down. When you have to leave the dance floor.
Right.
So you remember how you used to leave the dance floor? Remember you used to like kind of, if you're having a jacket, move the jacket.
Yeah, no doubt.
But no, I can never remember ever having a hard on winding up in Caravana. Let me go to the bathroom one more time, please. And you got the last set of questions
yes,
for us, right?
Yes, sir. We're gonna roll it down. Clifton Joseph is in the studio with the Cool Breeze. We're talking about Toronto back in the day when the dance was nice, like paradise. People were different. We weren't looking for trouble. We were just having a good time. People were respectful of each other's culture, and we just had a wonderful time. We just want the music and go home and talk about it and all them type. We didn't have social media like we had today, and it was a good time.
It was.
Today's culture. How do you see today's culture? Friends of mine, we had a big conversation about this. How they bulldoze all the Young Street. Young Street was the people's strip. They come down on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, take the family walk down or drive down, and it was a nice feeling. Music shop, this is that. The developers and politicians destroying the cities with condo ghettos.
Yes.
What is your take on that, Clifton?
Well, I was talking earlier about from 1971 to about 75, 76. They actually had the Young Street Promenade Mall where they blocked off. At its heyday, it was for 12 weeks in the summertime where they blocked off practically from like Adelaide to up past College. Problem with that, right, is that Simpsons.
Yes, Simpsons here.
Simpsons didn't like that, right? Because they were the only mall downtown, right? And now the crowd was moving up there, and the crowd was up there, and the crowd was outside and not inside, right?
There's a problem.
There's a problem. Some of the politicians didn't like it too, and after a while, even some of the storekeepers were complaining that the vendors who were on the street now, so that they weren't getting the traffic as much of the traffic. There was the beer tent and so on, right? And then the coffin in the nail in the coffin was the Eaton Center. Now we got a whole bunch of stores inside one place. Yes. Why are you going up on Young Street to buy anything?
Subway's right there.
So you subway land right in there. So then remember Young Street started to be like almost like a dollar shop and them little cheap electronic things and you hardly see anybody on the block, and it really hasn't it's gotten better, a little bit better, but not to the point of where it was. Because remember they used to block off the street in the summertime, even recently,
street festival
and street festivals and so on. Those are the kind of things you need, and you need to. They do that in Montreal last summer in the gay village. They block off blocks, man,
for days,
weeks, and months in the summertime. So cars take primacy, business take primacy, commerce, and it's not about the people. And having what is it to walk down Young Street, man, and sit down outside in the patio and see people walking up and not all these smog from the cars and so on.
True.
So the city has turned into Condo Toronto, Condorama, and it's more about business and it's about culture and people and unity and so on. It's more about making some money. Because look, Breeze, I was on Young Street a couple of times this week, gone from and Gerard. All the way from Gerard and Young to the Zanzibar. It's empty, it's crane, full of crane.
Right.
You go down to Alexander there just by College. Crane all over the place. That monstrosity they built up at the southeast corner of Young and Bloor. What if I can ISO?
Yeah, it is.
The whole place is
concrete.
And they have
ghetto.
All of these brand places and food places and so on. So it's lost the kind of people
and texture it had, man. I remember Clifton back in the day. I'm talking about 70s, 80s. The fashion. The women, they were fine. The big afros, the nice hair, and then they were, most of them you could take home to meet your mother. Back in them days. Now I see some girls on the train and with tree-color hair, all kind of weirdness.
Breeze, you're sounding real old, you know.
Yeah.
You're sounding
Well, time was forgotten.
No, because I believe they're always freaks.
Oh yeah.
They're always freaks, always so and so. And I remember we used to have a thing back in the day, 70s, where radical youth saying, we don't want a woman who wear a wig or who wouldn't wear lipstick and makeup and so on, and certain clothes. We're looking for demure, the demure, so on. And look, I remember I had one girlfriend who was the daughter of a preacher. Dude, she would skip off school and come by me. I would skip off school too. Sexiest specimen I have had. It's a girl, the girl wild like a pack of wild horses.
Mary Jane.
Yeah. So I don't know, sometimes I was looking at some sisters last night too, actually, with the hair.
Treacle.
and treacle and so on. And
They had some of them have good hair and still wear wig.
yeah, now again, the men, I see brothers with toupee and so on. So I don't know. I try not to be as judgmental with that, you know. Until if they come at me and look at my hair and say something about my natural hair, then we have a different argument. But I'm like, because I tell you something. I was on the bus one time, man. In the morning, had my locks out, and I'm sitting across from this old sister. Right, we both going to work early in the morning. I'm fucking still wiping the sleep out of my eyes, and I see she looking at me, Breeze. Looking every time and I notice it's my hair she looking at and screw facing and trips into herself, right? Every time I try to catch her eye, she started look at ads and so on. Breeze, so I just keep my stare on her. Let me see if you're not gonna look at my eyes before you leave the bus. And as I'm looking at she, I'm looking at she here now, Breeze. And you know what? I realized she was in a hurry to go to work because she wig was twisted one side. I didn't even tell she, but I didn't even tell she, I didn't even touch.
Good
So
old,
I say live and let live.
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And the spirit, me, I take in the best of the spirit of the 70s.
Yes.
Coming through that with the music, the camaraderie, the bravado, the stylishness. Because I mean, I'm not sure folks thought well of us in our platform high heel shoes at the times, us brothers, right? Or big afro, elephant pants, foot bell bottoms, and so on, right? So I try to look at it and say, okay, every generation has its style.
Yes, indeed,
and its approach and so on. And so I try to move a little beyond some of the surface thing. But I know what you mean sometimes, because I try to say, like, especially with hair and face and so on, so that, you know, with makeup, I see Africans put on makeup in the motherland and so on. Well, not makeup, but face painting and so on. So it's cool, and some of them have their hair in different ways and so on. So I try to extrapolate from that and say, okay, maybe we're a little bit freaky because George Clinton is a freak. George have all kind of hair.
Weird things.
So I try to see it sometimes as a performance. Because my man Amir Baraka, Leroy Jones, has a poem that says, "Take off that wig. Take it off now. Take the wig off." That's all the poem is. Take the wig off. Take that wig off. That horse hair off. Take that wig off. Take that wig off and be you. So I don't know, but I'm a bit, I don't know. I try to see it. I'm not as hardcore like you.
Yeah. And what kind of stations you listening to today for music?
Well, today, to tell the truth, I listen to a lot of Toronto stations. Again, not just for music, because tell the truth, sometimes I'm disappointed with the music. I listen to Jackie Vibes. I listen to Cool Breeze. I listen to. I have my own kind of playlist, so I play my music when I want to hear it. I listen to the white jazz station in Toronto, Jazz FM, the white jazz station. I listen to campus radio. I listen to CIUT. Can't get CHRI all the time. 105 Vibe FM they call it now. But I listen to sports radio, Raptors game and sports thing. I listen to talk radio. Not the right wing talk radio, but mostly news and weather and so on and so on. But I listen to a lot of international stations too. I listen to the Caribbean stations that I in St. Kitts. I listen to the stations in Antigua to find out what's going on there. TNT, Jamaica, and so on. So the world is the oyster.
Yeah, true.
And you know something else, Breeze? Truth be told, I like me some cheesy Indian music. You know, Indian movie soundtrack and so on.
Very soothing.
Oh gosh, well, I like that. I find them very outrageous and damn funny. I love it. So I listen to a lot of Indian stations here in the GT and so on. Check them out and Chin and so on. So yeah, and then when I want to hear my music, I will play it. I got a playlist like you do, maybe not as extensive, but I'll play my tunes.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your own radio thing going on.
Yeah, and occasionally I will go through the mainstream people to hear what CHFI is playing, what G98, the so-called black station, is playing, and the stations across the dial in Toronto to see, spend the 5-10 minutes with them and so on. So I regularly do, and recently I was on the case of G98, the so-called black station, the black face station.
Right.
I call it that. With that, I'll do an inventory 2 or 3 times a year where I'll spend a couple of days at different times, spending an hour or 2 with them, just to get a sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I'll do a review of that to see what it is. I'll do the same thing with the white jazz station too.
Yeah, me too.
To go through and say, wow, I didn't know there's so many white jazz music in the world, baby. You know what I'm saying? And when y'all go play 4 black musicians in a row, you know what I mean? So I'll do that just to get a sense of the pace. But for my own musical tastes, the good thing with technology is that you have access to the world, and that you can get on the net. It's not like where you were like right there and you had to listen to what they played you.
Yeah, true.
So I like that sense of liberation.
Yes.
And when I don't like what's happening, I just change the dial and change the link and go to something else that I did.
Yeah, that is so.
So I really love where we're at. I love the progress. I wish, and I gravitate to those folks and ideas and ethos that are emblematic of the best of the 70s. That unity we felt at Carabana, at African Liberation Day, at the Black Holes with Afro Pan and so on, at the parties, that sense that we are one, that idea that I came here as an Antiguan and Barbudan, and now I see myself as a Pan-Africanist, as a diasporan. I realize through the time we've been here that we are here, that a lot of us were born in the Caribbean, but we spent way more time here than there.
That's true.
We know this town more intimately than we know the countries we were born in.
That's
when
right.
we go to those countries, they don't know who we are. They ask you, are you Trinidadian, Guyanese, Bajan? Because Breeze, you got some Guyanese in you, some Guyanese lingo, some Trini, some Bajan, some Yankee, some Bajan, some Vincentian, some Kititian, some Guyan,
Yeah.
So we have all of that. We have all that, so that we've been involved in the project for some new black folks.
Right.
And I hope that the best of what we are, including the unity, the politics, the business, the working with each other and so on, and all of those, that those are the things that we cumulatively will boost. And that when we look at who we are in cities like Toronto and countries like Canada, that we would have taken the best of the different places we come from,
Yes.
and accentuate the more positive aspects, and fire burn the negativities and the bullshitters, because they're still amongst us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And sometimes want to get us off of our crease, as they say in cricket.
Well said, Clifton. Thank you for taking the time to join Cool Breeze and Jackie Vibes Radio, Channel 3 on Eglinton. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the correspondence.
Breeze.
I appreciate your time. I appreciate your perspective.
Breeze,
Thanks.
as I say, I mean, it sounds cliche, but you have loved me some cliches. Never met one that I didn't fall in love with, by the way. 6 or half a dozen, tomato. Breeze, you know what it is. You know what I mean? So, you are a very cool, funky, soothing breeze.
Yes, sir.
On the airwaves. And I admire what you do. Have much respect and appreciation for it. And I'm glad that you and I can sit down and palaver like that and conversate.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. We have a lot of stuff to talk about as we go along in the year. Things of interest to the community, and we'll let people hear local to global.
And I don't see an end to this, Breeze. There's no part end. There's no part end. This is a onward, forward movement towards wherever. So there's no part 1 of 20. There's no 20.
No.
It's like Let's see we'll see you for the next one, and I can hardly wait to hear what you come up with that you want to deal with now. Next time.
At Jackie Vibes Radio, Cool Breeze saying, keep the machine rolling. Peace, love, and togetherness.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.